Insurance and Finance Committee meeting to order. If you would please join me in standing for the pledge. Start every meeting off with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Mr. Roddy Bergeron is on a business trip and is unable to attend today's meeting, but we do have a quorum with Mr. Edmond present, and we also want to welcome and thank Ms. Mason for being here with us today as well at today's committee meeting. Item 2.1, review and approval of the Board Insurance Finance Committee meeting minutes from the July 16th, 2025 meeting. At this time, Mr. Edmond, I would ask for a motion to approve those.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to put a motion to approve for last month's meeting.
Second.
All right. So, Ms. Mason, I'm sorry to do this in a public meeting. I should have done it prior, but
Okay.
Unless a board member is sitting on a committee
Oh, I can't.
due to an absence of a quorum, they're not entitled to vote according to our policy, unfortunately.
Okay.
But thank you for being here.
Okay. I'm glad to be here and have a
I will
quorum.
second that motion. And
Thank
now
you.
that we have a motion on the floor and a second, do we have any public comment on approving the minutes from last month's meeting? Hearing none, please call for the vote.
Mr. Edmond? Mr. Hidalgo?
Yes,
Mr. Bergeron is absent. 2 for, none against.
motion carries. All right, what we're here for. Item 2.2, discussion and or action regarding the Gallagher report. If the Gallagher team would come forward, the floor is yours. Please, as always, speak clearly into the microphone. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, committee. Got a report through the end of, we'll wait for that to come up for you all. We're here to present the plan performance executive summary, which will be through the end of your fiscal year, which was from July 1st of 24 through June 30th of 2025. And this will be on page 4 for those of you with the booklet. We have the full report in the appendix. Before you crucify me for how small it is, this is the page we're going to pay attention to, but if we need to refer to anything, I do have it in the appendix just to refer to.
Can you blow it up on your screen?
Yeah, yes. And, all right.
Thank you.
So the all plans and all classes, this is showing you year to date, which would be all 12 months. We're showing that all plans are running at $506.47 per member per month. The rolling 12 in this case is going to be the same since we're doing all 12 months. And then we have it broken down by the classes, which is actives at 604, retirees with no Medicare, 1103, and then retirees plus 65 with Medicare running at 415. That does include those on the Humana plan as well, merged in there with them together. Then we have the 3 plans separated out. The high deductible plan running at $377.41 per member per month. The PPO basic at $804, and the PPO enhanced plan at $948. And what you see right below the fiscal year results, the plan ended at just shy of $60 million. With the retiree contributions of $16.4 million and the net cost to LPSS. This is the employer contributions plus your transfers from the general fund is $43,482,000. And I'll pause for any questions.
So we'll move forward. We may come back to this,
Okay.
but you can go ahead and move forward.
The next page is basically the same page. Everything you're going to see on the previous page is what is in June. These are the cumulative health plan costs, and what I mean by that is we take each month, so July, then we added August on top of July and September and so on, and we divide that number by the members for each of those months. I included this, Mr. Bergeron had some questions at the previous meeting about why the numbers fluctuated so much. You will see they don't fluctuate all that much at the blue level here, which is the actual cumulative. It does at the beginning, but as we start to accumulate the numbers throughout the year, it starts to smooth out, and that is represented here on this graph below. The blue is the cumulative. The orange line is the monthly total cost in each month. So that just takes each month's total cost divided by those members, and that does fluctuate because some months have higher claims than other months. What I wanted to show, the reason for that, I was hoping this visual might help that with the correlation of, you see the monthly rebate, or it says monthly rebates, but the rebates are actually mostly quarterly. There are some that are monthly. And you notice that that line follows the orange line. So that should hopefully explain why that does what it does.
Is this medical claims only?
No, this is total plan cost. This is medical and pharmacy, as well as the premiums from the Humana plan.
So you're saying total plan cost was right shy of 60 million?
Yep.
Although all of our conversations is much closer to 70 million. So explain.
So for next year, the projection is for 70 million. So this year that we just finished ended at 60 million. Our projection for the next year, without any changes that you just made, was going to be 70 million.
And you had how much, what was your percentage of an anticipated increase?
I apologize.
12, 13, somewhere?
Yeah, I don't have that number in front of me, but it was $10 million of from what we expected this year to end at.
Do we?
So I believe we projected the year to be at 63, or I think it was 63 million.
Last year?
Yeah.
Mr. Mouton, do you remember what we budgeted for last year? How much we budgeted? Yeah, please.
And just to be clear, even how this year ended out, even if you had not made the decisions and changes that you've just made, we would still be standing by our projection for next year at 70 million, just be due to medical inflation and so on.
Yeah,
I mean,
understood.
it would be right under 10%, which is trend, basically.
While he's looking that up, we get the question a lot about the difference between retirees with no Medicare and retirees plus 65 with Medicare. Of course, the number is astronomically different. Can you please just explain that a little bit
Sure.
for the record?
Yeah, so the retirees with no Medicare, and this includes your folks that are over 65 and not eligible for Medicare. Maybe they can't do Part A or B because of the way the system was they were not able to contribute early on. It also includes people who have retired that are not yet 65, that are on the plan. So all of their medical and pharmacy claims are unsubsidized, and meaning by unsubsidized by Medicare. And of course they're older, so that's where we're going to see a higher claims cost. When you look at the retirees plus 65 with Medicare and with the Humana premiums in there, what you have is both our self-funded plan as well as the Medicare Advantage plan are both highly subsidized by what they call EGWIP, or Employer Group Waiver Program subsidies. And these come in the form of reinsurance subsidies, as well as also we get rebates and so on. And that highly subsidizes that cost so that they're not on, this would be similar to them being on a if they were on Medicare separately from us. The other difference is retirees with no Medicare, as well as retirees plus 65, our plan pays primary. I'm sorry, Medicare pays primary, and then our plan pays. But in the case of the no Medicare, the retirees with no Medicare, obviously we aren't, Medicare is not paying those claims, so we're not just a secondary payer. So the primary expense on the retiree plus 65 plan is pharmacy. It's very little medical. And it is also highly subsidized, though, with those AGWIP rebates and subsidies that you guys get in the form of payments by running your plan.
You got a total number of belly buttons handy on the difference between retirees with no Medicare and retirees
Yep.
with Medicare? Mr. Muto?
So based on last year's adopted budget, we originally budgeted roughly $71.9 million in revenues and $78.6 million in expenditures, not including the transfer of the $6.6 million. And towards the end of the fiscal year, we are going to land with roughly $75.5 million in revenues and $82.9 million in expenditures without the 6.6 transfer.
82 or 83?
82.9, you can say 83.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the head count for all plans for head count is 5134 for employees or 9,000 for members. For the actives, we are looking at about 3,000 employees, 2,941, and about 6,000 members or 5,918. The retirees with no Medicare are 686 retirees with a total of 1,100 members. And then retirees with Medicare on the health plan, on the self-funded plan, are 1,507, retirees of 1,507 with 2,044 members. On the Medicare Advantage Humana plan is 692. Combining both of them together is 2,736 members.
All right, Ms. Mason, did you have any comments or questions at this point?
No, thank you.
Okay, so I mean, this is a big report. What I was just talking with Ms. LaBeouf about is our inability to speak the same language as it relates to budgets and numbers. I don't care if you guys have 10 pages of data, doesn't matter to me, but we have to be on the same page. So we're showing nearly $60 million of total spend. And that's, of course, after all of the rebates and everything has been taken out,
It's a net number.
which we have to consider and factor in our conversations and budgets in real life, because that's not guaranteed. But then we get the number, and we're talking about a huge, what appears to be a discrepancy. I know it's not a discrepancy. I understand it. But we have talked about this over and over, and we have to bring this down to a fifth grade level, and I say that with respect. It needs to be at a level to where if we put this in front of I know you like third, I'm giving credit, fifth grade level. Because the folks here today heard two different sets of numbers, and the problem with that is they're not going to know how to explain it to anybody, but they will explain it to someone. And that's a problem. We got to be on the same page. So I don't know how we do that, and I'm sorry to do this in a public meeting, but this has to get worked out between you guys and this department. And I know, because I sit in some meetings with you, because you got these numbers, you know the numbers, and I hear what you're saying. But guys, this is not how the real world works. We got to figure out how to marry that world with this world. We've got a group of folks talking about accrual value. We've got another group of folks talking about cash value, and it's not going to work. We need to get this cleaned up, because these real numbers are telling. I mean, it tells us everything that you've told us all year long. I'm not gonna become the definition of insanity. I know that the projections are going to be pretty doggone close on point for next year, with the exception of some of the important changes that we've made,
Correct.
which are very important, which are a big deal, and with the exception of the important changes that we're currently working on making, which also are a big deal. But we got to get these numbers synced together, because we have retirees with Medicare saying, well, we cost way less per belly button than do the retirees without Medicare. Well, yeah, but we need to be able to explain to them why, why. And we can't come here with this $59 million number and pretend that, and compare it to an $82 million number. We've got to start marrying the information together, even if it's a deck that has a separate, even if it's two columns. This is our accounting in the real world. This is the school board accounting, and this is what it means. Got to figure it out. Because times like today, when we're talking about actual costs, we're not talking about maybes, we're not talking about anything other than this is what we paid, this is what it cost. We got to have that comparison down pat. So hopefully I've made my point, our point here, and we can tighten that up for moving forward. I know you guys have your service calendar. Other than that, is there anything else that you were going to go over today? Because before we end, I just want to talk about a few of the things that we are working on, some of the positive things.
No, that was it.
Okay. The service calendar is what it is. I don't think we have to repeat it over and over. It's a living, breathing document. And you guys have,
I think the only thing not on here is that we're mainly also in progress with your staff doing a lot of heavy lifting as well on the implementation of the new TPA, the new PBM for a 1-1. So we are definitely in full swing on that, both teams.
how's that going?
I will say it's going.
Good.
Yep.
That's all that we can ask for.
Yep.
We've still got a reasonable amount of time. So let's talk about a couple of the things. You guys have got the PBM stuff rolling, correct?
That's correct.
Everything's good with that. Open enrollment is around the corner, right? And so we're going to be able to clearly articulate all of the changes, any of the changes that exist, including, well, actually, it's not really a member issue, but I mean, we need to make sure that we fully understand the changes in the increase in premium on the Medicare Advantage plan and what that really means to the plan. Because didn't they come in solidified after we budgeted?
So they did. We had that back to the projection, if we can just stick with the $70 million number for this conversation. That was factored in. We factored in a higher number, so it came in a little under that. So there's no concern on the projection piece. And just to be clear for you and for your sake, is just to remind that that is not, no, when we're talking increase in premiums, that's not to the members, correct? We're not increasing premiums for employees this year.
correct.
Yes, sir. I just want to make it clear that we're talking about internal premiums to
Talking about the
LPSS.
school system's budget.
Yes, sir. Yep.
But your projections were a tad higher than the actual, so we're in good shape.
Yes, sir, because we did not have that information at hand at the time, so we just figured 11%, I believe.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, and Ms. LaBeouf, or you guys, or any, just Mr. Superintendent, or any administration want to chime in, I'm super excited about the, just the positive meetings and conversations and relationships that have been had over the past few weeks on the idea of direct contracting. I know I've received some feedback. I've been part of a couple of the meetings, but I've received some feedback too from providers. And I am pleasantly surprised, or not surprised, I'm excited by the fact that they are wide open to talking, conversating, and trying to work with us. This, if this works out the way that we have voted it to work out, this is going to be a game changer for Lafayette Parish, and we know what a lot of school districts do. Once Lafayette Parish tries something, they follow. So this could be a very big deal. I'm excited about it. And if there's anything else anyone would like to report on as it relates to the changes or the positive things happening with our health insurance, now would be a good time.
Mr. Hidalgo, I want to make sure that our active and our retirees understand that one of the questions was that about direct contracting and the things that we're doing with that. I want everyone to know and hear that this is not being paid through any funds that we are taking as far as our insurance. This is allowances that are given to us by Meritain. Meritain has given us $200,000 and $100,000. Some of the things that I've talked to Ms. Trish about, and she's asked for blessings from me to be able to move forward, is communication and making sure that all the different things that are going on are communicated. So we're going to be doing a lot more as far as communication in that end. So this direct contracting that Mr. Hidalgo is saying, that Dr. Roble and myself, along with him and the person that I have actually hired, guys, you would not imagine that the person that I respect more than anything, and I'm not going to reveal who that is, that owns one of the biggest businesses in Lafayette, has stated that he has been reading books on exactly what this is all about and what we are doing here. And all I can say to you is that we are no doubt putting ourselves in a situation where we're going to get better deals. And the reason why we went with Meritain is because no one else would have allowed us to go and do our own thing on the side. So regardless of what Meritain was doing with getting themselves as far as a network is concerned, we're going to them, that same type of provider, and saying, we want a better deal. And we deserve to get a better deal because this is our insurance. This is no one else's insurance. So I want everyone to know that my hope is that we get to a point where we have something as far as a fund balance that we can refer to and we can actually get into if we have some bad years. We're not there yet. And hopefully we get to a point where we can take some of these costs off of our retirees and off of our active employees at least some portion of it so that we can make things whole. Because I will just tell you that there are some bright things that are coming out, and you're going to see it within, next 6 months, within another year, we're going to see some things happening as far as our health insurance. But I have to say this, Mr. Hidalgo has led the charge, and I'm going to tell you, from the beginning, he has talked about this direct contracting. I had no idea what this was all about. And the conversations that we're having with people, I'm going to tell you right now, they are open and ready to do business. You know why? Because we have leverage. And they know that we have leverage as far as our membership is concerned. So, Mr. Hidalgo, thank you for that.
Mr. Superintendent, if it's okay, I want to expound on what you just said. Fellow board members, something he just said is very important because the only pushback or roadblocks that we have received through this process so far have come from outside of this organization and outside of provider organizations. And it's the typical thing you would expect, but I'll tell you that Gallagher's negotiation with all of the three third-party administrators that quoted, but ultimately Meritain, had dollars in there, quite a few dollars in there, to help with very specific things, one of which is direct contracting. So the school system, the taxpayers are not paying for a contractor to go out and negotiate on our behalf who actually knows what they're talking about as it relates to day-to-day medical claims and PBM. And we're not reinventing the wheel here. This is done elsewhere around the country, guys. We're just Louisiana, typically last. So we're actually first in the state to start doing what people are doing around the country. Any other statements or comments? Okay, well, this is probably going to be the lightheartedest meeting we're going to have as it relates to insurance. So thank you all for being here. And with no other items on the agenda, this meeting is adjourned.